Hi everyone, I'm the Boston Potta. As they would say in Boston, let's get started. Hi everyone, Mary Ann O'Hearn here, in case you don't know who I am. Because of this whole thing and I'm working from home, this is what we're going to be doing today. I don't have it with me, but I have the pattern, I have the plate, and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's a technique that just takes black, white, and a little bit of gray. It's a gnome hugging a snowman. So this was supposed to be a class in Kansas, but that didn't turn out this year. So I'm going to show it to you so you can actually use it for Christmas in July, or maybe you'll have it ready for the winter months, and hopefully we're all back to normal and you can do it then. So anyway, that's it. So I'm gonna show you what to do. Okay, so we've got this organic Ware dinner plate. We've got our pattern, got tissue paper to trace the pattern. You're gonna need a pencil. You're gonna need a marker. You are also gonna need cloud white, because I have already covered my plate with, it's really a 4-coat glaze. The mats are a 4-coat glaze. Now you can use for this project surface coat white, which is glossy and not matte, but I kind of like the way the matte looks with the glossy on top of it. So I'm going to do the 2 coats of the matte cloud white, and either way, if you use the surface coat or the matte, you won't have to dip it. And the only other colors we're going to need in here is we're going to need Fun Stroke white, we're going to need Rockin' Red, and a little bit of Hi-Ho Silver, which is the gray. That's all the colors you use for this. It's mostly black and white. Now, you're going to trace this pattern onto the tissue paper. Okay. Now I'm going to take the tissue paper with the pencil drawing, and I'm going to line it up on my plate. And now I'm going to use a Sharpie marker to trace onto the plate. So this is going to, if you've never done this before, the Sharpie marker will bleed through the tissue paper and put a pattern right onto your plate, whether it's on the glaze or just the bisque. Either way will work. Make sure you check it, make sure it's going through, and it is. So it's very easy to do. And the thing with the tissue paper is you can trace this on anything. You can do this on wood, on even on glass you can trace this way. So you can wrap it around things. You can trace it on canvas like this. It's just a way of transferring your pattern to the piece. And it's more for a guide. This is going to fire off. So your marker is just a guide. It's going to fire out in the kiln, so you're going to be painting over it. Now, if you use this method on wood or something like that, then you're going to have to paint over it, because it's not going to be fired in a kiln, so you won't be able to do that. Now, so just trace it on. Okay, so now it's traced onto my plate here. You're going to pour out a little bit of the Hi-Ho Silver, the Polar Bear, and a little bit of Rockin' Red. Okay, and I do have this Rockin' Red in Fun Writer because that's how I'm going to do my red. You can do it, you can paint it on with a brush if you like. I'm going to use this. It just takes a little longer to dry. So the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to paint the gray. So I'm going to paint the gray, which is going to be the scarf. I'm going to paint the scarf gray. So you just want to put a coat of that on with a brush. Now I kind of wanted this scarf to be a little bit watery, so I don't want it on really heavy, so I'm only going to put one coat on. Okay. We're going to outline it later anyway. There was a color I didn't put on the mix that I forgot about. We will be using some black lab. And I didn't have it on the beginning, so you will be using that too, because it's black, white, and red, and gray. And with the noses, I'm gonna use a little red, but I'm gonna mix a little white into it because I just want a very light pinkish type of nose. Okay, even for the gnome, I'm just gonna put like a reddish nose. So he's outside, it's cold, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm going to do one coat of this kind of pink nose, as you can see. Okay, and I'm going to do the carrot the same way because I kind of want it to be kind of the same. I don't want to add another color into it like an orange, so I'm going to do that with that color too. Okay, so it's very, very light. Okay, now I got the scarf gray. I'm gonna do a little bit of gray on the outside of the snowman. So now, in order to do that, I'm just gonna make it like a you know, so that it's just a little shaded, like just putting a little bit of very light. I'm gonna use a little bit of gray, and I'm gonna define the snowman a little bit. Okay, like this, just around these edges. You could see it's not anything fancy, you know, it's just kind of getting some gray in there. Wet your brush and use just water to kind of smooth it out so that you've got this look of, you know, you're adding a little bit, you can see it's just a little bit gray. Most of that is just wet. When it dries, you're not going to see that much of it. I'm also going to put it in his like beard, a little bit of gray in his beard. So I'm gonna do just little streaks. So I'm just loading the brush a little bit on the side, and because I don't want his beard to be completely white. And I'm saying beard, not beard. I know my Boston accent is getting really bad. Being home, I don't have to talk to as many people, so I just talk like a real Bostonian. So, okay, so that's what you're gonna do in the beard, as I try to say that. Okay, now what I'm gonna do with the scarf, I put my nail in there. Okay, what I'm gonna do with the scarf is I'm doing it a little bit of a second coat in there, and I'm gonna take a small, let me see if I can find it. Okay, found my wooden tool that was on the floor. Anyway, you can use just a dowel. This is a wooden tool I have. You can just get a dowel from the craft store. It's great for just, you know, scratching out things. Now I use a pencil sharpener for even if it was the dowel, and I just make it sharp on the edge there. Now this is what I'm going to do with this one. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make some lines into the scarf. It's still a little damp, that's why I'm able to do this. So I just want to put a little design on the scarf, and I don't want to have to use another color. So I'll show you this closer up. you don't want to create dust when you're doing this, so I suggest that you just shake it off, like bang it off, okay? Now, so you could see that's what I did just to, you know, I just wanted to make some lines in it without using a color white. I just wanted to scratch through, because don't forget, you got like 3 to 4 coats of the cloud white on this plate, you know, front and back. So you can carve in there and it will be fine. You know, you're not going all the way to the bisque. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the red. Now, like I said, you can brush this on, or you can do it with a fun writer. So I'm going to do it with the fun writer because I just want to put one coat on. So I'm going to fill this all in. As you can see, a fun writer is quick. It's one coat. I'm not putting it on too thick. Hold your fun writer sideways, not up straight like this. Hold it sideways and just kind of fill it in. You can scrape a little bit because this is the cloud white is pretty dry, so it's still a little damp, but it's dry enough that I can do this. And you can see I'm just filling it in, going sideways, holding my fun writer sideways. So you can see how quickly this moves along. Like I said, it just takes a little longer to dry when you put it on like this instead of brushing it. But brushing it, you maybe save on, you know, maybe each coat may dry quicker, but you're going to have to put a lot of coats on. I am also going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to do this, his little jacket, this whole outfit, the Snowman's outfit. Now, that's all I have to do with that. Now, I'm also going to do these, while I'm at it, I'm going to do the balls on the tree. And then, when I'm done this, I am going to show you a cute little trick to do the trees, to make them look like birch trees, okay? Now, that's it so far, okay? So now I'm going to get a little thing that I'm going to show you how to do the birch tree. Okay, now, to do these trees, okay, we're going to take, I know this is kind of going to sound crazy, but I'm going to use this sugar packet. This is this little sugar packet trick that it worked great for me, so I'm going to show you how to do it. So you're going to cut the sugar packet right down, like you're going to cut a piece off. You want it probably about, well, you can cut it more after, but cut it right in half, and then you're going to empty it. Okay, so you're going to empty it, so you got 2 pieces, but I'm going to use this little piece of this little packet here. Now I'm going to use this end because it's a smaller end, but you can cut it as thin or as wide as you can do, as you want. If you want, I'm going to show you. Okay, so I got a thin one and a wide one. This one's a little thinner. So what I'm going to do is this is how I did the trees on here, and it's pretty simple, and they look really nice. They look cool. It's sort of like when I was doing the canvas. When I did the canvas, I used a credit card or a hotel card key like that I did. Like I took this, like a card key, and that's how I made my lines on my birch trees. But that was on a canvas. This is hard. The canvas is hard. With glazes, you can't do that. It doesn't work as good. Plus, it's the plate curves. So you're going to take the sugar packet. You're going to dip the edge in. See how the edges dip? And then you're just going to bring a little bit of black from the line out to the tree, like I'm doing here. I'll show you. It just kind of looks a little more realistic than if you were doing it with a brush. When I did it with the hotel card key on the canvas, it came out so neat that I was trying to find something that I could do with this too that didn't make it look so fake looking, you know, like a brush that you would use. So I used this and it seemed to work out good. So you can see as I'm doing this tree, that's one side. Now I'm going to turn it. Now I'm going to go and do this other side. And you see how I'm just using this flatter part of the packet. And it doesn't put it on so heavy either. You can, you know, spread it out a little bit and just make it look a little bit more like a birch tree. Now I'm going to do one more so you can see. I'm going to do this one over here. You know, leave some spaces. Birch trees aren't all evenly spaced. So do all your trees like that with the little sugar packet, okay? Okay, once you have your trees done with, like I showed you, putting the, you know, doing all this, going this way to get those spots on. Now, I'm actually gonna, when I was doing this, I was just having so much fun with this little sugar packet thing that, you know, and as you can see, I used the side that, you know, it's got this little funky edge to it, and that's why I liked it. But now I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna do. It was just easier to do than just get out the line, the fun writer thing. So now I took this thing and I made my lines. I just dipped it in and kind of just jotted some lines down the sides of the trees instead of just outlining the whole thing, because I think I just like the way this this looked rather than doing a line with the fun writer bottle. So it just kind of, as you can see the way it's going on, it's sort of like I'm just jaggering it down. It's kind of just made it more fun and more interesting, and not like these perfect trees. It made it less perfect, and that's what I kind of liked about it. Just making some lines down. So now you got an outline on the tree, but it's done a little bit differently. You could even take your branches and do the same thing. Now, if you want to use the Fun Writer liner bottle, you can to do that. This might be something to do also. You've got to be a little more careful with it. Coming down. So I'm just jaggering it, as you can see. Some edges you don't even have to do because you got the black there already. You know, you just want to go over where your marker is. Okay, now I did all my trees with this, the little packet here. And I'm actually doing even this, the snow on the bottom here, the same thing, just kind of putting some lines in. It's just got kind of a roughed up look like a painting would have, or, you know, that's how I wanted it to, that's the look I was going for. So, now that I'm done with the sugar packet, I am going to take my Fun Writer bottle, and now I am going to use this to put the lines down to the ornaments to make it look like they're hanging from the tree. Now you don't have to outline around the ornaments. That's entirely up to you. It's optional. Now I am going to take the Fun Writer and with the black, this is with the black lab in it, and I am going to fill in this little boot here because I want that to be more solid. And I am going to outline him. I'm going to do it kind of scattery because I don't want it to have that perfect look like I said. So I'm just going to kind of make it a little bit scratchy looking. Remember, you're going over your marker where your marker is, so you want to make sure you're covering it. It's not your marker is going to fire out, so you're not going to see that. I'm going to put a few little lines in the beard. As you can see, I'm just going to put a couple of little scattered lines in the beard. I'm going to go around the nose. We are going to decorate the hat a little bit on the gnome. You can go around the scarf. You can outline a little carrot. Remember, these don't have to be perfectly straight lines. You don't want them to be, the whole plate is kind of is a little messy looking, but I am kind of going for that look that it's not perfect. I'm going to put some little tassels on while I'm at it. Going to make some little uneven looking buttons. Not really buttons. I'm going to make them look more like little pieces of coal because they're uneven. Oh, I forgot this line here. Double check, make sure you have all your lines because there are different areas, because some of them I did with the other sugar packet and some I did with this, the liner. Okay, so I think I've got everything. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull back this gray that I have here, and I'm going to use the back of a round brush. You know, the round tip brush. You don't want to use one that's got this kind of a tip with the slant on it. So this is a rounder brush. And I'm going to put some rather kind of good sized dots of the gray onto this red at the back of the brush. That's how I'm going to decorate this, the gnome's hat. Now, this, you can do this any color you want. I just chose to do it just red and white, kind of in a little bit of gray. But if you want to do this, you know, a different color, you can. I also did one in blues, so that's pretty too. So this here is the red look. I do got a couple of my fingernail gets in the way sometimes, and had black on it, so I made a little bit of a mess there and there. Okay, so I think that's it on that. All right, so here we go. All right. Oh, and I do want to do the little mitten, and I'm gonna fill that in with black. So this is the fun plate we were gonna do in Kansas that we didn't get to do. So you would have had it for Christmas in July. You would have had it for all winter, but anyway, that didn't happen. So this is it. Got to show it to you anyway, because I wanted to show it to you anyway, because it was a good, a cute little technique. And the sugar packet would have been fun to see how everybody did that. That's it, I think now. Oh, the other thing I did do with the plate, which I could show you, is that's why I also used the polar bear. Let's see, is you're gonna take the toothbrush, and I splatted the whole plate to get that snow look. Okay, so I'll show you, hold this up after. I think this makes all the difference, to me anyway, but it's your choice. But so I'm just splattering it a little bit. I try to get a few big splatters in there, but sometimes it's difficult the way it goes on. You can't plan it. So the snowman has some, so she has snow on her hat, so you didn't really have to decorate her hat, but you could have if you wanted to. So this is it. That's the plate finished. So we're gonna fire that and see how it looks. So just a few colors, and it's very cute. So, good luck with that. I wish we could have just kind of met in person to do this, but we couldn't do that, so I'm signing off.